for the blood type of the two patients, Miss Green and Miss Brown. So we will begin by explaining the materials that we have for this activity. I have the two simulated blood samples that correspond to Miss Green and Miss Brown. I also have two spot plates, and on the spotlight plate you could see that there is in fact an area whereby we can test for the different proteins that are found on blood. So therefore the A protein, the B protein, and the RH protein. We have then the anti-serums, which of course are also simulated, that will be used in order to possibly introduce a reaction with the blood. And if in fact it coagulates or becomes opaque, very difficult to look through it, that means it tests positive for that protein. So this is the anti-RH, we have the anti-B, and we have the anti-A protein simulated serum. So we will begin with Miss Green's blood. So we are going to take the simulated blood and we're going to add 4 drops of it into each of the depression wells, as I'm doing right now. And we will begin to proceed with the anti-serums and then stir in order to encourage a potential reaction. So we'll start with the anti-serum A, and we're going to add 3 drops of that. I will then quickly take the anti-B serum, and I will now use the anti-RH serum, and we will stir the blood, making sure to use a different stirring stick for each well so that we do not cross-contaminate. And stirring is important to at least stir for about 30 seconds. Some of the reactions, if possible or if applicable, are quite quick. Others may need a few more seconds in order to react. A is done. I'm going to flip over the stick to use the other side to now test for RH. Okay, now we will do the B. Alright, I have a bit of spluttering going around, which is absolutely normal. And now we are going to compare our results. So I'm going to bring the well close to the camera, and as you can see, there has been a discoloration in every single well. But in order to confirm that there is in fact positive testing going on here, it is recommended to look at the results by placing it over a piece of paper. So that's exactly what we're going to do. And if we cannot see the words underneath very clearly, then you can be sure that it tests positive. So we definitely can't see through the B. We cannot see very clearly through the A. It's a bit translucent, but once you get a good amount in a corner, you cannot see through. And the same thing is true for the RH. And in fact, it's quite gunky, which clearly means that there is in fact a positive reaction. So using that, we can now draw our conclusions and determine the blood type of Miss Green. And we will now be able to proceed with Miss Brown's blood. So same procedure, 4 drops of Miss Brown's blood into the depression wells. Okay, and we are going to add 3 drops of the anti-A, and then 3 drops of the anti-B or anti-B. whatever your preference is. And finally, 3 drops of the RH. And then we are able to mix, making sure that we have a fresh stick for each mixture. Okay, that's A. And RH. And then we'll take a last remaining stick for B. And then we can make our interpretation. So, for this one, we have a lot of translucency happening, but again, just to confirm, so that way we are all on the same page, we will place it over the paper, and as you can see, we can very clearly see the words underneath, which means that there is no positive reaction for any of the proteins for Miss Brown's blood. And of course, using this information, we can now draw our conclusions and determine her blood type. And therefore, that will conclude this portion of the activity.